So I've been talking about my spin dryer and I wanted to show you guys what that is, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and set that up so that I can show you what I mean when I say that I spin dry my yarn, all right? Let's just go ahead and pretend like my floors are perfectly clean, okay? So this is my spin dryer. It's a Panda. I'm not certain what the capacity of it is, but this particular model with the protection plan cost around $250. I got it off of Amazon, but and while that might seem very, very expensive, which it was, I ended up being able to afford to pick this up after Crystal over at Bag O Day did a review of my mystery boxes on Etsy. I got some extra orders and that gave me enough extra money to be able to afford this unit, okay? So just so you know, I didn't expect that I was going to be able to have this until like maybe a year from now, okay? But anyway, this model, what you do is, now I'm going to hand this to Greg so that he can demonstrate, because I've got my microphone on and everything, so yeah. All right, so I handed the yarn to Greg. He's just standing there. Can you show them the yarn, please? Okay, so he's got the yarn. I've kind of squeezed it out a little bit, but it's still damp. Can you get kind of close so that they can see that it's still damp? Yeah, so it's still damp. I don't know if you guys can see, but inside of this Panda here, I put yarn when I'm done dyeing it, and I can fill it up with a lot of hanks, but basically I'm just using one hank right now. So once you fill it up, there's this little white thing that you put on top of it. I'm not certain what it's for, probably for leveling it, because this thing will move sometimes if it's uneven the way that it's loaded. So you put that on there, then you close the lid, and to turn it on you pull this lever, and it spins really, really fast. And in just a few minutes, you're going to be able to see water coming out that spout at the bottom. Isn't that cool? And all of that water there at the bottom is what's in the yarn. Isn't that amazing? So what we do is that we just wait until that stops having water come out of it, okay? Which is usually about, a minute to 2 minutes, all right? Obviously, if there's just one skein, it doesn't take as long. And it just starts kind of dripping. We just kind of wait until it's not dripping as much. All right, guys, so I'm back, and as you can see, it is just dripping there, right there at the drain into that bowl. So I'm going to show you guys something that's kind of cool. All right, so Greg is opening it now, and we have maybe not perfectly dry yarn, but a lot drier. Now you cannot do this with all yarn, but especially with the superwash yarn, you definitely can spin dry it with a spin dryer. One thing that is also cool about this particular unit is that if you have kids like I do, and they need to wear a specific shirt or a specific jumper or whatever it is that day for school, and for whatever reason it's still dirty, you can hand wash it, throw it in that spin dryer, and it will get like 98% dry. Then you can toss it into your regular dryer and let it dry out completely there. So it is nice for laundry. You can definitely use it for laundry. If you don't even have a dryer, you can definitely use this as a dryer for laundry. Just wanted to show you that. All right, guys, so this is the water that came out with just that one skein of yarn. And I wanted to show you something really cool here. I'm going to pour this water, okay, into this measuring cup, and we're gonna see how much water was in that skein of yarn. All right, so I just poured it into this Pyrex cup. And by looking at this, I'll try to be as steady as possible. You can see that we have just over a cup of water there that was just sitting there in that skein that spin dryer removed. In fact, I'm not going to be holding it perfectly still, but it looks like it could be somewhere in between 1 cup to 1 1/3 cup, which is pretty amazing when you're thinking about yarn dyeing and having a business set up where you yarn dye, and how much that unit really speeds up the dye process. So for those of you guys who want to yarn dye and make a business out of it, I would highly recommend this Panda spin dryer, because when you dry in this Panda spin dryer, you can really boost the efficiency. This can turn your turnaround from let's say maybe 2 days to take a whole skein of yarn to completely dry 100%, to about 24 hours from dyeing it to spin drying it to hanging it up to dry for the rest, because you know it's not perfectly dry, but it definitely speeds it up. Just wanted to show you guys that.